We interview everyday people like yourself that uplift and empower, shifting the narrative of news from a traditional negative experience to more impactful.
We don't talk about Bruno.
Miss Rebecca Finos, I go by she and her. And then would you like the students?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. My name is Janaya Rivera. My pronouns are she, her.
Hi, I'm Avery. My pronouns are he, they.
Hi, I'm Victoria. My pronouns are she, her.
Hi, I'm Caitlin Daly. My pronouns are she, her.
Hi, my name is Hunter Sight. My pronouns are he, they.
And what inspired you to start a TikTok?
So during COVID, normally the Honor Society has to do community service hours to be part of the Honor Society. And we couldn't go out into the community. We were stuck like everybody else, and we couldn't meet. The deaf community weren't meeting. They weren't doing this. So we thought TikTok was a fun way to reach the hearing world and to reach the deaf community and teach them some signs, to interact, teach them some grammar, teach them some culture things. So really TikTok started from COVID because there was no other way to get community service hours besides making videos.
And how do you think sign could benefit someone that is hearing?
Sign to benefit someone who's hearing? There's
Or like, yeah.
Yeah, so
I don't
someone
know
who's
if I word that
hearing,
right.
it's okay. Well, so it can benefit deaf, it can benefit hard of hearing, and it can also benefit the hearing. Especially like my friends have learned basic sign language to communicate with me because clearly I do it all the time. And so we've just found it really helpful when you're far away from each other and you need something, or when you're in a loud situation and you need something. It's just easier to be able to communicate across a room or across the space without having to yell or be rude or disrespectful to other people around you. Or if you're at a concert, you know, it's a lot easier to hold a conversation and listen to the music than to scream at each other in each other's ears.
How has your view count changed since your We Don't Talk About Bruno TikTok came out? Because I was kind of looking at the view counts, and I saw that particular one had a lot of views, but I wasn't sure how it was compared to the other ones.
So our account blew up after the We Don't Talk About Bruno video. And I don't know if our viewpoint has changed that much. I mean, the students are still learning and they're still developing their skills. So it hurts them every now and then when they do get a negative comment, like, we want more facial expressions. And it's like, we're trying, like, they know facial expressions are important and it's very much included in the signing world. And we do our best. But I mean, again, they're students. So it's nice because they've gotten to be able to see the point of view of deaf people, the point of people who have deaf children have commented saying how wonderful it is. So I think it's just really motivated the students more to like learn proper sign language and to use their non-manuals and to use their signs to open up a world that is closed off to quite a few people.
What inspired you to start the Honor Society?
I did not.
Okay.
It was student led. The students wanted a club and they set it up and they're like, Miss Rebecca, you're the sign language teacher. Will you do it? And I said, sure, I got you guys. I will do the paperwork. I will do all of this, but they run the club. And then Honor Society was the same way. Like, Miss Rebecca, we want an Honor Society. Okay, I'll do the paperwork, but you guys have to run the meetings and everything.
Okay, so in that case, what had inspired them, and they can answer as well, what had inspired them to start it?
Caitlin?
I can start it.
So the students here are not the original OGs. We had some students in the past started, but what made you guys want to join and continue this? Because if you guys didn't do this, Miss Rebecca would not have this.
I guess it was the sense of us being together because there's a lot of us that probably don't have outside clubs where we feel welcome or somewhere where we could really interact with our friends and learn something at the same time. So the club gives us an opportunity to connect with each other as students and also as like friends and getting to know each other more.
Feel like a second family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I found has like helped because we run a lot of events also to help connect with the deaf community and learn more about what the deaf world is like, and also being able to sign with deaf people. And so that was really a huge motivator for me to be able to learn from deaf people how to sign. And like, it's one thing learning about cultural things, and it's another thing putting it into practice with actual deaf people and getting to know them. That was really cool. That was one of the reasons why I decided to join.
Anybody else? This side of the room's a little nervous.
And then the next question is not really a question, but tell me kind of about the competition that you won. Kind of, you can go through what it was and kind of what it was like being there in the whole process.
Yeah, so we, like Hunter said, we do a lot of events throughout the year. So we have an ASL Idol that we do a World Language Festival, we do a Holiday Expo, and then we do ASL in the Park as well, all as a county. So all of the county teachers who have clubs and honor societies get together and we try and organize and do different things. So in this case, this was a World Language Festival that was set up by our county, and the county encourages students from all languages to join. And we were motivated to participate this year from our Spanish teacher. We have a new Spanish teacher this year. And she was like, I want to do something with Spanish and ASL together. And we're like, okay, well, what were you thinking? Like, what song would you like to do that's Spanish related? And you can teach us how to do the Spanish dances, and we can teach you guys sign language. So actually the crew that learned the TikTok song were both ASL students and Spanish students for the language festival. So we had to learn to dance and they had to learn to sign so that we could all interact together and make it look seamless. And then what happens is when we go to the festival, there is a general presentation. So everyone gets a performance that they can do within their language. So we registered as sign language. So we did the Spanish song in sign language with our Spanish, with our other Spanish students. And then what happens is the students compete after that in their language. So the Spanish kids will compete in Spanish. We have a French category, we have a German category, and then we also have an ASL category. And they compete in 3 different categories. The first one is poems, where they have to memorize a poem within their language and then present it to the judges. And then we have impromptu speaking, where they have like 16 topics, and the student will get to pick 3, and out of that 3, they have to talk about one of them for a designated amount of time. And then they have a skit, where the students then get to perform a skit of some kind within their designated language. So with those 3, including the group performance, based on however many superiors the students received, is how you win the overall trophy. So our group, with the Spanish, the French, and the ASL students all together, had the most superior as a group, and we won the overall trophy. And that's how it works.
So you kind of, I guess you kind of touched on this just a little bit, but did you feel like we don't talk about Bruno as a challenging song, or like even just the performance itself? Because I know you had mentioned like they had to learn how to dance.
Yeah, so all songs, that was really our hardest part. All songs have their own difficulties. So what we do is we have to pull up the lyrics in English, and then we break them down because the word order in ASL is actually very similar to Spanish. So the topic will come first and questions go at the end. So we have to then go through the English version and gloss it. It's just basically the ASL way of putting things in word order, and then relate signs to them in the proper tone and the proper way. So the actual video that we posted was not our final product of that song, because we needed to use different hand shapes and different movements to express what the song was saying. And because it was a rough draft, I mean, the rough draft blew up, but there were changes down the road.
Okay.
But each song has its difficulties. I think this one was pretty easy to put into ASL word order. I think the difficult part for the students was the dancing at the same time as signing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Hard.
And then, of course, like I said, they can answer any questions. But describe your biggest challenge when prepping for a competition or for really any of your events.
So for me as the teacher, the biggest thing is organization. So making sure they know what they're doing, making sure that they have their materials all set and ready to go. But for the students, what was the hardest part for our competition?
I think the hardest part was that every event that you're participating in is so different from the other. Like poems, the way you sign poems is very different than how you're improving or doing impromptu speaking. So having to switch your mindset from each event was just hard to do and concentrate on that one event. For me, at least.
I think it was being so nervous.
Nervous.
Being nervous, that took a toll on me. It's hard to like be like, do it, shake your hands, stay calm. That was a lot of work. What about you guys?
There's like a rush of emotions when going. Like at first I was really excited, and then when I got there I was still excited, but like I got really nervous before we got on. And honestly, you just have to like go out there, do the best you can, put on a face, do your part, and that's what we did. That's what I did.
It's nerve-wracking to perform anywhere, honestly, even with the other events that we've done. There's just pressure to kind of be perfect, but the best thing is just to have fun. And everything so far with ASL Club it's been amazing for us.
Yay.
How do you feel having an honor society and a club that focuses on ASL? How do you feel like that's important for like the world in general?
In Florida, at least, we have such a high population of the deaf community. Like there's a lot of deaf people, and it's good to know that language, to be able to communicate with them, because their voices matter just as much as us hearing people. And it's very important as well, like for jobs, because there might be someone that needs help but doesn't have that access to communication, and you can be that access. I don't know.
I've had a lot of deaf customers actually, and I've been able to help them. It's been super fun.
Right. Also, there's a component where in a honor society, you do community service, and that's one of the things that we have tried to do in our honor society, is to help support the deaf community and raise awareness for problems that deaf people are facing. And I think that's really important on any level, to just have more people advocating for deaf rights.
Yeah, we recently, one of the local colleges has an interpreting program, and they're on the process of shutting it down. And so we actually took some time in class to write letters and express that it's sad to be losing a really important part of the deaf community that these students literally could have gone to college for, but now might not have that opportunity. So yeah, they do we try to do a lot with the community, especially now that we can go back out into the community.
So outside of COVID, in terms of community service, what do you usually do?
So normally we have our 3 big events. We have the World Language Festival, but that one's more of a county competition. We do ASL Idol, and that is basically a signing song competition that we get to compete with other schools in our county. And this year, we actually have schools from our neighboring county who have sign language programs who are really interested in joining and competing with us this year. So we will be having a competition just to spread awareness about the sign language in general in the deaf community. But it also brings awareness to people sign in different ways, and there are different accents, and that during that show and that competition, we're able to show that. We'd like to do ASL in the park, where we give like an afternoon and we reserve like a little gazebo. Thank you. We reserve a gazebo. English hard. We reserve a gazebo. We've got a bunch of like outdoor games, and that way students and members of the deaf community come together. Students get an opportunity to practice communicating. Deaf members get an opportunity to meet people who actually are passionate about learning their language. And then we also participated in the past with Relay for Life, because a lot of these students and myself have had experience with family members with cancer, and a lot of our students have had cancer, that we used to also be part of Relay for Life, and we would interpret all the speeches and the performances and raise money for that as well.
So now that we're coming out of COVID, do you see the club going back to doing things like, you know, not even just Relay for Life, but like picking a cause that matters to the students and going to that cause and doing that same thing, like interpreting speeches and stuff like that?
That is the goal. But again, it's based on the students' interest and the student participation. I am literally just a paperwork lady. They say, Miss Rebecca, this is what we want to do. And I bring it up to whoever it is in charge of that event or that activity. And I say, hey, this is what they would like to do. Is this, are we able to do it? Because sometimes the school does restrict us. So I'm just paperwork. So whatever the students choose to do is what we do. So I always suggest, I'm like, in the past, we've done this, we've done that, we've done this. And then if they want to do more, we can do more. But it's always up to the group of students that I have every year on what we do.
And then I only have like a couple more questions, unless, but is there any other important information you want people to know?
We are trying our best. There's a lot going on in the world, and you know, every now and then you got to have some friends, and you got to be motivated to do something and find someone who will support you in doing it. Like I said, I trust me, I am a lazy person. I would not be here if it weren't for them. Anytime they ask me, Miss Rebecca, can we do this? Can we do that? I'll be like, sure, I'm here. I'm after school. We interpret our school plays. The theater teacher and the students really love interpreting the plays. So we do that every year with them. We try to be involved. But that's about it.
And then what do you want people to take away from this story?
From our story.
Yeah.
Our story.
I mean, I want people to take away the fact that to be patient and understanding. Everyone has different backgrounds, everyone has different knowledge. Just to be patient, they're students, they're learning. To be patient with someone who might not communicate the same way you do, be it in Spanish, be it in German, be it in ASL. Just to be patient and understanding, because I think that's really what blew our account up, is that people were excited to see us doing something different, but also like, hey, maybe you can improve here and improve there. And that even though there's negative feedback, that's still trying to help you to do your best.
I have no.
We've learned that lesson.
Thank you for listening. Continue to listen and support our journalism at weinspiremovement.org. Hit us up on all our social media for daily inspiration. Nothing but the good news.